We are here with the president of the jury for the Signis award. So could you tell us about something about this this award, this condition that you've been through these days?
Okay, it was actually a nice opportunity. We have as Signis, we are invited always to be jurors in almost all of the film festivals actually, in a unique way. And then this one is a bit different and unique because it presented us with the idea really of documentaries around the world that are really with human and Christian and gospel values. And that's what stands out. There were really a variety. And we had before, the first one is, how do we judge this when there are many different varieties of documentaries to analyze? But one thing that came out is something that after watching all this, there will be one that would stand out in terms of raising our Christian values, raising actually our human values in terms of as well as the gospel. And that's how we selected, we could say, the films. And that's why here we have selected those three, one winner and then the two commendations.
And the members of the jury were very different? They had different ideas, or you had a common target?
We have common targets. And actually in the first two, the winner and then the first commendation that we have, we were actually unanimous at once in that one. It's actually the third one that has been a bit difficult because seeing the difficulty was like seeing children with guns and all that, on how it would be presented, and how would audience like children would be able to put it at heart as well. And there is always the danger. In some countries, actually even children holding guns would be banned already, those films. But at the end of it all, we thought, but this is like thought-provoking. People who would like to see those, even children with guns and all that, and their views on guns, would do something about policies and all that. That could be a good challenge as well. That's why, even though we disagreed on that, we passed that it could actually promote as well some issues about children and war. And we consider that that's something good because that is something that is needed as well today.
So you consider these documentaries to be a little bit educational?
It is actually, especially the first one anyway. It's educational in terms of autism. It's not sort of a current affairs one. The Lampedusani one is very, very current. I like actually even that one, almost all the juries. And even I was telling about the fear on how the Lampedusa people welcomed actually positively what was seen. In fact, when we had this, we had also an audience with the bishop afterwards, and he said, "Oh, I did an interview as well, the Archbishop of Turin. I did an interview, and in that interview, one child of 8-year-old called me, and he said to me, I have a room full of toys," he said to his parents. "I have a room full of toys." And then, the bishop is calling that we should actually welcome them. Then he told his parents, "But Mom, I think I would actually empty my room of toys, put it in my room, and then leave this room free for the immigrants." And then the bishop actually was so touched about that one too, that each of us can have a home on it. So in terms of current events, that Lampedusani one for us has been striking. And then, as I have mentioned, the first one on what you taught me about my son, it's actually a great opportunity. Very, very educational because we understand how people with autism actually think and work. And that's how to interpret. There were parents there who did not actually understand at once. So what they normally do is just, okay, autism is to be cured. But that film presented that it is not. It is actually to be lived with joy, especially if you are a relative. That it is not something to be scared of, but something to be lived. That the autistic people, even as has been in the film, as we have noted, actually they don't want even to look straight in the eyes like that. They wouldn't. They hate that. So even the angles of the film on how it was made, they do not look direct. Which for me was very, very nice, and our jury has mentioned, yes, it's something really that stands out because how we treat even people in our age today, that is something that is most important, especially culturally.